Pacificos, it's one of my favourite waves in Western Australia, for sure. You know, it's high performance, you can get barreled, it's got everything that you really need, and if the right winds are blowing, you know, that's where I was busting a lot of airs on through that inside section. So, you know, for me, it was an all-round wave that I really enjoyed surfing because it would test you as well as let you attack it as well.
The wave itself at Strickland Bay, it's a peak. The right-hander is extremely high performance based sort of a wave. It can get hollow, you can get really good barrels there sometimes, but it's a really good performance wave. And the left is a lot more challenging, I think. The left tends to be more of a, once it gets to about 5-6 feet, it's pretty much a full-on barreling sort of wave, but you can also get some turns away. So in a global perspective, it's a high quality wave, a really good performance wave, and most people that have surfed it, that have surfed around the world, probably concur that it's, you know, it's up there in terms of some of the highest quality performance waves around the world.
Well, now surfing's been going for 50 years or so. Now we've got a history. Prior to that, when those guys were starting in the 50s, there was no forerunner. Everything they did was for the first time.
Our main reason for paddling over was to go surfing on the inner transit and the outer transit. So that would have been about 1953. Just our football shorts, a t-shirt, a couple of quid, and you paddle it. Get over there, talk about 2 hours, which isn't bad, from Rottnest to City Beach. Halfway back and we saw this fishing boat, which turned out to be the old Wandoo. They couldn't believe where we come from. We thought we were aliens. Hey, any chance of a drink? What? Where did you guys come from? Yeah?
And Jim Keenan, it changed things completely, I think. New light boards, up to then you had to be a man mountain to carry the damn board around.
But we switched to boards, Malibus in '56, so that was a good thing. The skis were great fun, and you know, everything like that. Tony, Dave Williams might have accompanied us a couple of times, and that was about it, I think. We did have some close shaves with ships in the fog. We could have evade it quick because we had a double ski, but Tony was a lot slower, and the bloody thing there nearly got him. You know, this way out. We used to think about surfing around at the West End, but I'm glad we didn't, because pretty hairy out there.
He called it King's Reef after himself, because at that time, well, they were the only blokes there, and but he's there next to some other places too. Who knows? Who's the first at any rate?
Surfed there before. I don't think any of the other boys had. So we just travelled around the island and happened to find waves which we didn't know it was, but it was Strickland Bay. So. Rick named it King's Reef because I was the first to paddle out, but I think there must have been guys that had surfed it before, but we didn't know anyone, so we claimed it a bit. But and then we went to another one, and Rick was too scared to paddle out, so sheepdogs called him Chicken, so they called it Chicken Reef. Yeah, because Rick or Charlie, we used to call him Charlie Chan, of course, but was working for the Independent newspaper at that time, and he somehow wormed his way into saying that he was going over on a promotional thing to promote Rottnest Island board. He arranged for a plane to take us over there, travelling around the island on horseback as well. None of us knew how to ride a horse, so we just pointed in one direction and the bloody thing would go in the other direction. He's brought to life a lot of the history of surfing in Western Australia, which, I mean, in those days no one carried a camera.
Grierson does it.
At that stage, owned a surf shop in Perth called Ocean Surf Shop, and that might have been his surf team. And Rick went over with them to film them for the day.
I started Perth's first surf shop in 1972-73 called Oceans. We had a surf team called the Grierson Surf Team, which consisted of Cole Adams, he was the shaper. There was Chris Fulston, he was one of our test riders. Adrian Wilson was another one. And Chan was our official photographer. Rick Chan was our official photographer. So, and we always had to look after Rick, take him with us, and drop him off at Strickland Bay. And he'd set himself up on that ledge on the cliff top there and surf. While we were surfing, he'd get good photos and stuff of the surf team. So he was very important for us in those days, and he'll tell you himself. Pretty important. But we used to love Strickos. It was just a perfect right and a perfect left, and you could really perform on it with the boards we were riding those days. I prefer the right. In fact, my boards were round tails, so that you could come off the bottom pretty hard and solid, hit the lip, and then just big cutty, you know. I used to love it, and then line up that inside section. Sometimes it'll dip over that little inside section, doesn't it? Sometimes you get through it. When you do, woo-hoo-hoo.
Because it's such a dynamic wave, it can be when it's 3 to 4 feet, it's super high performance, and then when it gets bigger, it turns into a pretty challenging sort of a scenario. So you learn how to do manoeuvres, but you also learn how to tube ride. Moving from a competitive point of view, Western Australia was the perfect runner for surfing those sort of waves. So over time, I spent a lot of time living in Hawaii, and pretty much like here, like surfing, you know, Strickland Bay or some of the waves around Margaret River, for example.
I think, you know, going to Rotto was that escape from those crowds. You know, like I spent most of my time around surfing events around all the different parts of the world, and everywhere we went there was lots of people, it was crowded, it was busy. So to be able to have an escape like that, to be able to go to somewhere where it was just you and your friends, took me right back to the reason why I really started surfing, and that was just the pure adventure and stoke about it. And I think competing through all those years, to have that every time I came here was real special. Surfing new spots all the time, I think, helps you, you know, because you're drawing different lines, you're, you know, experiencing, you know, different motions, different bottoms and all that other stuff. So I don't think you ever understand the ocean completely. I think you just sort of grow with it and try and navigate through it as good as you can. But obviously surfing waves like that definitely helps there.
As soon as you get on a boat and you head away from the mainland, I do anyway, my worries and your problems in life just you leave behind. And it's just a general mood of Rotto. People just get over there, they let their hair down and just enjoy life.
More the adventure, you know, getting on a boat and travelling across a body of water to an island and not knowing what to expect, and you get there and it's, you know, it's quite primitive, but you've got these weird little creatures running around, and it's like a different world out there, you know. So for me it was those first experiences, you know, just that whole adventure side of things, and to know that it was so close, you know, but yet you felt so far away from everything. I think that was the best part about it.